Suicide is a serious subject, no question about it, and I've talked about it here on several occasions. But even the most grave of all topics, self-destruction, can have a comic aspect. And with suicide, it's possible to at least smile when you hear about failed attempts at it. So, however improbably, this will be the lighter side of suicide. First and foremost, suicide, like so many human endeavors, calls for a certain amount of resolve, a seriousness of purpose. If you have arrived at a time and a place where you honestly intend to go through with it, to put an end to your life, chances are good you can do it. Life can be frail and easily taken. Think about it, in a notable case, Ernest Hemingway eating a shotgun barrel. There was some determination there. Artists and actors seem to be prone, especially, to suicide attempts. There is a very long list of performers who have tried to kill themselves and failed. It's a very stagey, dramatic, theatrical gesture, intrinsic to the performing personality. Owen Wilson, Halle Berry, Greg Louganis, him 3 times, once with a combination of aspirin and X-Lax, which is no way as deadly as Mr. Hemingway's shotgun, and the choice for the agent of death can be telling. Eminem tried to kill himself with Tylenol, and Billy Joel tried drinking furniture polish, chosen, he said, because he thought it would taste better than bleach. Maybe he should have just gone with the lemonade. In his autobiography, Sammy Davis Jr. said that he was so upset with continual derogatory comments about his race, his religion, his size, and maybe his eye, that on his wedding night he wanted to drive a car off a cliff. This is a fine line here. I don't know if wanting to do that qualifies as a full-blown suicide attempt. For a Hollywood type, maybe. I have 2 favorites in this special category. One is the British author Evelyn Waugh. He has one of the great all-time failed suicide attempts. He was despondent as a young man, as young men can be, over his writing, the lack of success he was having with it, and his sexuality, ditto, as well as his life in general, and the fact that his parents had named him Evelyn might have had something to do with it too. Upset by all of this, he went to a seashore, took off his clothes, and stepped into the water, intending to end his life. According to his own report, which is all we have to go on, as he swam away from the shore, he was attacked by a jellyfish, stung so severely that he went back to shore and lived many years thereafter. That must have been some jellyfish. And I like that detail that it attacked him, like it was out there lying in wait for him, driving him back to the shore and his life. If living in this case is salvation, then here is a man who was saved by a jellyfish. Robert Frost is my other exemplar. He, as a young man, was not happy with the way his life was going. We have seen that young men are fairly easily knocked off their pins. He asked a young lady to marry him, and she refused. His poetry wasn't being published. He really didn't have many prospects, so he decided to kill himself. Nothing hasty about it either. He planned for himself a proper poet's death. He chose a hell of a place to do it, ripe with meaning, like one of those natural metaphors so prominent in his writing. He made his way to the border of Virginia and North Carolina, to a place called the Great Dismal Swamp. What better site on earth to do this? None better. He walked 10 miles into the Great Dismal Swamp, where there might have been snakes, but there were no jellyfish. He came upon a group of hunters, duck hunters. Apparently he had a change of heart about this business of killing himself, because he paid them $1 to lead him out. Johnny Cash would understand that. He tried to kill himself by walking into a cave, but he found his way out. I don't know if we would say he was lucky or unlucky because of that. Eventually he made his way to Folsom Prison, and that worked out for him. Death is certain. Life is nuts. The part of the Robert Frost story that I like the most is the dollar bill. He meets these duck hunters 10 miles deep in the Great Dismal Swamp. He's tired, maybe wet and cold, frightened. He doesn't want to die anymore, and he asks these men for their help. They look at each other, look at him, this goofball, 10 miles deep in the swamp with no gun and no gear, and they're not sure what to do. He reaches into a pocket and pulls out $1. "Will you take this and do it?" he asks. $1. "Okay," they say. "Come on."